knitting time. My name is Lina and I live just outside of Uppsala in Sweden with my partner Simon and our daughter Iris. She just turned 1 like 10 days ago or something like that, which is crazy. It really feels crazy that she's so old so fast. She's growing up. And I don't know what episode this is, maybe 8? I should have checked that before. Didn't do that. So, at the moment, I am not where we live, just outside of Uppsala. I am in northern Sweden, where I grew up. This is where my mother is from, and we grew up like just south of where we're at right now. This is like my mother's children's home that we still have in the family, so we come here a lot during the winter, and I love it here. And we spent Christmas, and we're about to spend New Year's. It's tomorrow. Here with like all of the family. So we've been like, I think on Christmas there were like 14 of us, like 6 or 7 kids. So it was a full house. But I love it. That's what Christmas is for me, like seeing your family and stuff. Since in my family, we don't really live close to each other. I think it takes me and Simon like 6 hours to drive here from where we live. And my parents live just south of here. So we don't see them a lot. So Christmas is that time of year when we finally get to see everyone. So that's lovely. And I thought this year that I would film an episode for you because it's so beautiful. It's a real winter wonderland and I just couldn't resist it. I've layered up with wool so that I will not be cold. And I've waited a few days because a couple of days ago it was like 17 degrees Celsius, minus 17 degrees Celsius outside. I looked it up. I think that is like 1.5 Fahrenheit, which is not very warm at all. Very cold indeed. Pause for a passing snowmobile. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but you probably can. But they were driving super slowly. Yeah, I think that is like 1.5 Fahrenheit, so that was very, very cold. So I've waited for a few days, and today it is a little bit warmer. It's minus like 4 degrees Celsius, which I think is like 25 Fahrenheit, if I'm remembering correctly. So it's a little bit warmer. I've layered up. I think I will be fine. I'm wearing my gloves and my hat, so we're all good. I just couldn't resist filming in this beautiful surrounding because how often do you get a chance to actually film a podcast episode with like winter wonderland around you? It's beautiful. We've had lots of snow. I think there's like 40 centimeters of snow right now. I don't know what that is in inches. Not my thing. You can look it up yourself. But yeah, so it's been wonderful. We've been skiing, both like downhill and cross country. Simon is actually away right now doing cross country skiing. And a few of us went out on snowmobiles, like I don't know what you call them, skoterled in English. Maybe like the tracks where you're allowed to drive the snowmobiles. They like officially opened them for this season today. So we haven't been riding a lot of snowmobiles. That's usually what we do when we're here. We love it. But we have a few of the tracks are on our land. So like my dad and some of the kids went out the other day because if they're on our land, it's our choice to drive on them, even if they're not like officially open, if that makes sense. So they went out for a bit another like few days ago, but we've been mostly like skiing and playing board games and just hanging out, playing in the snow. It's been really, really fun, and tomorrow it's New Year's. So yeah, I'm gonna get to the knitting now because I've been speaking about like everything because I'm so excited to film this episode in the surrounding. And I'm hoping to bring like some winter feelings to some of you that might not have snow this time of year. You can enjoy some of mine. So yeah, let's talk about knitting. So first of all, we have to talk about what I'm wearing. I am so excited. I'm gonna take my gloves off for this so that you can actually enjoy it in all its full glory. This is the zipper sweater by Petite Knit. This is not blocked yet because I finished this like the day before we were leaving to go here, and I wanted to bring it with me because it's the perfect sweater for this kind of weather. So this isn't blocked yet. I'll block it when I get home. But this is the zipper sweater. I finished this sweater, like the knitting part, 4 months ago. And then it's just been staying in its little project bag, giving me guilt feelings because I didn't finish the zipper. That was the only thing left, sewing in the zipper. But it's one of those things, you know, when you have to weave in the ends, or you need to sew on buttons, or you need to sew on the zipper, or something like that. You move on to shinier, more enjoyable project. I'm sorry if you can hear snowmobiles in the background, but people are just going crazy because they opened the tracks today. So we'll just have to live with that. What was I saying? It's just been waiting for a zipper, and I finally did it. I brought this with me to knit night, started it there, and I was like, I'm gonna finish this so I can bring it with me for Christmas and like the holidays and everything. So I did, and I'm so excited about this sweater. I love it. This is knit in Drops Nepal. The color is Deep Ocean. I'm aware that the white balance is probably way off because of all the snow. I'm gonna try to fix it in post-production. If I can't, I'm sorry if everything is blue. I'll try to show you like the color of this sweater. Probably won't pick up that great, but I've showed you this before. It's like a bluish green, and it has super long twisted rib cuffs. I did the Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off that I always do because I love it. And this is the collar. It's like double folded twisted rib, and it has a zipper. Oh my god, I am so excited about this, that I can finally wear it and have it in my wardrobe. It's perfect for like this time of year. So yeah. Also, did I do modifications? Yeah, I did a few more decreases to the sleeve than I think the pattern had. I will sit down because I have no idea what it looks like when I stand up like that, because I don't have a viewfinder or anything. Yeah, I did a few more decreases to the sleeve than the pattern calls for. I didn't knit like the increasing based on what the pattern said. I started, and then I do what I always do. I just try it on, and I'm like, yeah, that's good, and then I do the sleeves. And at the bottom, it's also the twisted rib with the Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. I'm really happy about this sweater. I'm gonna be wearing it a lot, and I might make another one if I just need to like forget how long it took me to sew the zipper, not because it was hard, because I was just not feeling it. And when I've done that, I'll probably make another one because I love this one. Also, if you could see my like camera setup right now, you would be laughing at me because I have taped you literally to a like a stick that you use on the side of the road, so that when they like clean the road from snow, I don't know what that like the word for it is English, but when there's a lot of snow, there comes like a big tractor, cleans it all away. They use these sticks on the side of the road to like mark where the edge is, and we have a few of those at our house. So I've literally taped you to one of those, stuck you in the snow. So far so good. Every solution is a good solution. I'm gonna move on now because this video is gonna be like 3 hours long because I'm rambling about the snow because I'm so excited. So, finished objects. The first one I'm gonna show you, I don't think this was ever in a video as an acquisition or a whip, but this is a Heartwarmer polo. I have no idea who made this pattern. I can't remember. All of the info, as always, will be in the description. But this is the Heartwarmer polo. I made this for Iris because she's always like, her throat is always a bit cold. Her neck. So I made this. It's like a little scarf thing that you put on. I made this in Sandness garn, Merinoull, merino wool, 100% superwash merino wool, because this is around like her mouth and stuff. It's gonna get really like, you want to clean this often, so I wanted it to be superwash so that I can just throw it in the washer. The color is curry. This took me like 4 hours to make, and I love it. We've been using it a lot. I modified the pattern a bit because I think the pattern had a stockinette collar that like folds down, or not folds, but like rolls a bit, you know, like stockinette do if it doesn't have an edging. So I modified that and made like a one, like a, what do you call it? 1 times 1? 1 by 1. Oh my god, I totally forgot that. 1 by 1 ribbing instead for the collar, and this is great. We use it a lot, and I'll probably make more in the future. I made this in the size, I didn't tell you the size for the zipper sweater. I don't even remember it. It's so long ago. I have no idea. I'll write it in the description. I think this was the size 1 to 2 years, maybe, if that's the size available for this pattern. I made it a little bit bigger so that she can wear it longer. But that's the first, no, this is the first, this is the second FO. I brought all my knitting in this like tote bag. I hope it doesn't get wet. We'll see. The second finished project that I'll show you, I was going to be this one, but I just changed my mind. Putting it back, showing it to you in a bit, is this one. This is the one that you have seen as a work in progress. This is the Semper sweater that I talked about in my last episode, and it's finally finished. This is also not blocked because I finished this on the car ride up here, so it's not blocked yet, but I'll show it to you anyways. Oh no, I just put it in the snow. Here it is. Da, 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 da. It's all wrinkly, not blocked or anything, but this is it. It's knit up in one strand of Knitting for Olives merino in the color navy blue, right? Yeah. And one strand of Isager Alpaca 1 in the color marine blue, I think, or ultramarine or something like that. Because I'm not a mohair person, so I'm gonna try out this alpaca one because it has a little bit of bloom, but not the same way that a mohair does. So far, I really like the way that it looks and the texture it's creating. So I think this is gonna be winning concept for me. I might use this a lot more, I think. But yeah, this is the Semper sweater pattern by the Knit Pearl girl, Sophie Hemmings, that I test knitted. This is not the test knit version I made. This is another version, so this is the second one I've made. It has a folded collar. It's a raglan sweater, and yeah, I made it like super basic, but this is super cropped, as always. I've talked about this before. I like the super cropped length because I wear it over like skirts and stuff. So it ends like, if you've seen all my other episodes, it ends where all the other cropped sweaters end, like right after my boobs. This is unplugged, so I can't really show it to you. But I'll try to show you a little bit of close-up of the fabric. And there's the raglan, the double folded collar. I add a little like contrasting color to the neck so that when you get dressed, you don't have to think about what the back and front, which is like which. I just put it on. And I just put it in the snow. So apparently I'm pre-blocking the cuff now because I put it in the snow. Maybe I could just... I've heard that... Whoop! I almost fell in the snow. I've heard that to like clean your knits, you can put them in the snow for like a day and they will like self-clean. Is that true? If that is true, I should just put all my knits out here for a day and then take them inside where we're like burning a lot of wood in the fireplace where it's super warm so they would dry super fast. Maybe that's an idea. I will look that up. But yeah, I love this pattern. I talked about this before because when I test knitted this, the sleeves weren't perfect, and Sophie like found this out during the test knit because that was the feedback that we had, all of us, and she fixed the sleeves for the like final pattern. And for this one, I followed the final pattern, like the actual official one that's released, and the sleeves are a lot better. The fit is amazing now, and yeah, I did add a few extra decreases to like the end of the sleeve because I wanted it to be a little more fitted at the end of the cuff. But the fit of this sweater now is amazing, and the sleeves are perfect now compared to when the test knit was going on. So yeah, I made this and I'm really happy with it. I will most likely make more Semper sweaters in the future because this might be my new like basic raglan pattern, because it has a double folded collar, which I like, so I don't have to like modify that. And I used to use the no frills as my like base pattern for a basic raglan, but it has a lot more yoke depth than I prefer, so I just have to modify it anyways. And this one is a little closer to what I prefer, so I might start using this as my basic like raglan design and modifying from it as I do with the no frills. But yeah, I think so. I made the size F again. I think the next time I make this sweater, I'm gonna try the size, what is it? One size down, so E. Yeah. Because it has a little more positive ease, like on joke depth than I would prefer. So I might try size E next time. Yeah. So that's another finished object. The chair that I'm sitting on right now, it's so like this. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So before this episode ends, you might see me topple over into the snow unintentionally. What an episode that would be. Yeah, the next finished object that I'm going to talk about is the Sunday suit that I was making for my sister's baby. I finished it and I gifted it for her, like to her for Christmas. So I don't have it anymore because I gave it away, but I will show you a picture that I took. It was so adorable. It was so fast. I knitted it up in not heavy merino, Knitting for Olives merino in the color Petroleum green. And yeah, it's so adorable. I sewed on little cute red buttons and everything, and I made the size 1 to 2 months. So I finished that. I don't have a lot to say. I followed the pattern exactly as it was written, and yeah, I like that pattern. I think the Sunday suit and the Anchors suit or Anchors onesie are my favorite like kids onesies patterns. I really like them, so recommend. Moving on, the next finished object is this one, and you haven't seen this as an acquisition, you haven't seen it as a work in progress, because I think it's been like 2 months since I filmed the last episode, and it's been almost, I think, a month since I edited and uploaded it, because that took me a month because of personal reasons. So there's been a lot of knitting going on since we last saw each other, because it's been 2 months. So you haven't seen this one as an acquisition, and you haven't seen it as a work in progress, but you will now see it as a finished object. This yarn, first of all, is from Olann, which is an Irish company, I think. Irish based at least. And they do hand-dyed yarns. They're very special, very like limited stock, and you really need to be on your toes to get it. And I was just waiting for this yarn because I saw them post about it on Instagram, and I was like, I need that in my life. And turns out, this is actually kind of a funny story. Me and Simon, we were having a bet at the moment, because this is a long time ago now, a couple of months. But he was like, no, Iris won't be able to climb up to the onto the couch before Christmas. And I was like, yes, she will. And I was like, she's gonna be 1, so obviously she's gonna be able to climb onto the couch by then, because she was like taking her first steps around 9 months and like walking properly at 10. So I was just sure that she would be able to do that, and he was sure she was not. So we actually bet on it because he was so sure. He was like, oh, I'll bet you. And we bet like on money, but we have shared economy, so I don't know what the point of that is. But the funny thing is that it took like a week, and then she did it from like when we bet on it, and he was like, damn it. And that was like in October or September, I think, so it was long before Christmas. And the result of that was, he was like, so am I gonna like transfer you money now when we share our money, because we're like in the same household? And I was like, no, but I will splurge on some yarn. So that's what I did. So I ordered this yarn because this is quite expensive since it is hand dyed and all of that gas. So I splurged on this yarn because he lost the bet. I think we'll do more bets in the future if that's how I acquire fancy yarns. So this is the Olann organic aran, which is 100%, I think it's Peruvian Highland wool. Non-superwash in aran weight, obviously. And this is the color Industrial, and I love it. This is what it knits up like. And I alternated skeins. I've never done that before, but I didn't do it at the beginning, and I was starting to get like a lot of blue here, which is what's called pooling. And I didn't want that to be a thing, so I started alternating skeins every like 2 or 3 rows. And on the sleeves, I actually alternated skeins like every other row, I think, to make sure that I didn't get a lot of pooling. And I love this sweater. I've been using it so much. This might be my favorite so far that I've made. I just really like how different it feels, and it's all of my favorite colors, like blues and oranges and rusty like reds are my thing. So this is ticking all the boxes for me. This is based on the Felix pullover pattern by Savory Knitting, and I've modified it a bit because I didn't want, I based it on that pattern because honestly that is the only pattern I've ever knit where I haven't had to modify the sleeves at all when it comes to like decreases. And I want my sleeves quite fitted. I've talked about this before. I'm not really a balloon sleeve person or like a big loose oversized sleeve person. I want a fitted sleeve. That's what I'm most comfortable in, so that's what I make. And I think the Felix pullover is the only pattern I haven't modified the sleeves when it comes to decreases, and it fit me perfectly. So this is basically the fourth Felix pullover I knit because I love that pattern so much. That's probably my favorite pattern. But I have 3 Felix pullovers now. Oh, there's a person passing. I need to be quiet because it's awkward. She's passed now. Because I've made 3 Felix pullovers now that has like the iconic lace pattern over the raglan, and I feel like I need a little variation. I can't just have all of those. Like all my sweaters can't be the Felix lace pattern. So I based this on the Felix pattern, but I removed the lace detail and just did a regular raglan, but I kept the increase rate, if that makes sense. So I did it like when you do the increases for the lace pattern, I did an increase but a raglan increase instead, if that makes sense. So the increasing and everything is the same, but I did a normal like make one right, make one left instead of the lace pattern. And I did a 2-stitch raglan. You can't really see it because of the nature of this yarn. I'll try to show it to you. Yeah, and then I just did the sleeves, did the cuff with the Jenny surprisingly stretchy bind off because I love it. And this sweater has a double folded collar, which is also not in the Felix pattern, but that's a modification that I made on 2 of the 3 other Felix pullovers that I've made, and I love it. So that's probably what I'll keep doing when I make Felix pullovers. The only one that I made that doesn't have the folded collar is the summer version that I made, which has like a normal collar, but I do like the double folded collar, so I'll keep doing that. So this has that one as well. This is also super cropped, as you can see. I would have preferred this to be like 1 centimeter longer if I would knit it again. And I have yarn left, so I could just go back, undo the ribbing and everything, and knit another centimeter and then add the ribbing again. But I'm too lazy. So I've only blocked this once, so I might just block it again and try to... I can probably block like a centimeter of length into it. It's not a lot, it's like this much. Because if it had that, it would be perfect. But I do love this sweater. It's probably my favorite so far because of the... It feels so different. It's like, I don't feel like, even if you get the same yarn, you're not going to end up with the same result, which I really like. So I'm really happy with this one. I wear it a lot, and I'm going to cherish it. And yeah, might do more bets in the future so that I can splurge on fancy yarns. I think those... No, those are not all of my finished objects. I have another one. I have another one that I'm gonna show you now. So, this barely counts as a project, honestly. I made, because Iris, my daughter, she was getting so cold. She had really bad gloves. We've gotten her better gloves now, but she was always very cold, like her hands, when we were outside. We knew that we were going up here, like for Christmas and New Year's, and we know that we're gonna be going up here a lot during the winter. Like the last couple of years, we go here like at least once a month during the winter. Like the first time Iris was here, she was like a week old. because we just love it here. And even if it's a 6-hour drive, it's totally worth it, because when we get here, it feels like you're exhaling, you're just relaxing, you feel so calm. So yeah. So we needed, basically what I'm trying to say with a very long story is that she needed warmer gloves. And I didn't want to make gloves because that's not my thing, I think. I made one pair of gloves when I was like 15, but that's a long time ago. So I decided to make like little slip-on things that she could wear inside her gloves, just to add like this extra thin layer of like wool so that she will keep warm. And I had this laying around. This is Knitting for Olive's merino in the color Nature, I think. I didn't really know what to make with it. I know why I got it, but I haven't done that project and I'm not feeling that project, so I got this. And I thought I'll make her little slip-on things for her hands. So I came up with these little things. And the funny thing here is that I made one pair of these, just like 2x2 ribbing, straight up and then decreases, and it looked ridiculous and it was too small. So I made an, and I don't even have those with me, so I can't show them to you. So I made a different pair. I started, like the first pair, they were too short and like they were scrunching up because of all of the ribbing and stuff. So I made this little prototype. It has like just by 1x1 ribbing for a good amount of like maybe 10 centimeters. Wanted them to be quite long so that she like wouldn't get snow on her wrists. So I made like 10 centimeters of ribbing, and then I just went into stockinette. I did a few increases so that it would be, because her hand is obviously wider than her wrist, and then I just decreased on 4 places to basically make a little hat, kind of. And we tried this on her hand. It fit perfectly. She's still too small to like use her thumbs when she's wearing gloves, so I didn't make any thumbs. And then I made a second one and it looks ridiculous. I don't know what I did. I think my gauge is way off. It's a lot looser for some reason, and also it's a lot bigger than the first one. I don't know how this happened. So we'll see if I make another one to try to match this, or if I'm just gonna go with this one. They will do the job. So I made those. Barely counts as a project, I think. But hopefully they will keep her little hands warm. Yes! Moving on. Now I'm going to show you my work in progress. And I only have one, to be honest. And not like I only brought one. I only have one. Oh, actually I made a Sophie scarf as well. Did I? Yes, I did. That's finished. That's at home. I'll show you that in another episode. I made a super tiny Sophie scarf that you can use like as a hair tie. Because the tiny scarf is not my thing, but I could get around a hair tie or like a headband. So I made one of those. I'll show you in another episode. Moving on. I only have one work in progress, and this is it. I'm making a blanket for Iris. And this project is boring me to death. I wish I'd brought some other yarn so I could make something inspiring. But I didn't. I finished all of those projects. So I'll show this to you. Oh no. Okay. This is annoying. I have a few stitches left on this row. I'm gonna finish them so I can show this to you in a better manner. Hang on while I knit 4 stitches. Or knit 1 and slip 3, honestly. There we go. So, this is going to turn into a blanket. It's very big now. It's very, very wide because I'm gonna felt this in the washing machine. So I'm just doing basic garter stitch with an I-cord edging, which is the first time I've made an I-cord cast on. It was not as hard as I thought it would be, and I got the idea for the I-cord edging from the Sophie scarf. It was super easy to do. I was like, I can do that. So that's what I'm doing. I don't know if that's a bad idea when I'm planning on felting this, but I'm doing it anyways. And this is just garter stitch, all over garter stitch, and like I-cord at the edges.
And I'm not feeling very inspired by this project at the moment because it's just knit, 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 slip 3 stitches, knit, 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 slip 3 stitches, on and on and on and on and on. And I wish I could make a sweater right now, and I don't have any yarn with me to make a sweater, and where we're at, there's no way for me to buy yarn. So I'm knitting on this. Which is why I haven't gotten that far, because this is not inspiring to me. So I choose to play board games instead of knitting. That's just life. I did order some yarn that I think like will arrive just as we get home from here, that I'm gonna use to make a sweater, and I'm very excited about it. But yeah, so I'm doing this on like 5mm needles, which is huge for me. Like the regular sweater for me is like a 3, maybe a 3.5 if I'm lucky. I'm a very loose knitter, but when you're gonna felt it, it's like good if it's a little bit airy before, because it really does felt. I've made felted things before, and I didn't even tell you about the yarn. I'm using Rauma finull. I've felted this yarn 3 times before, and I really like the result. It goes so soft, because like this, I'm not sure I could have a sweater. Maybe I could. I'm not sure I could wear a sweater in this yarn because it is a little bit scratchy. But having this on my shin right now makes me feel like maybe I could. Interesting. Anyways, I'm doing it in Rauma finull. I'm gonna felt it, and what I know is that it goes super soft when you felt it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm using 2 strands because I wanted it to be 2 different colors, because I like the effect of that. I have no idea what that's gonna do when I felt it. It's gonna be super interesting to see. And I'm gonna make this a super big blanket. I didn't even show you. I have no idea how many stitches I have. I just cast it on a bunch. It's very big, and it's obviously gonna shrink a bit when I felt it. My experience felting this yarn is that it shrinks about 5 to 10 centimeters, depending on how hard you felt it. So that's what I've based the size on. And the plan with this blanket is that Iris is gonna use it when she's like at preschool. They sleep, when they sleep during the day, they usually sleep outside. Even in the winter, if it's not like super, super cold. And I don't want her to be cold, and I wanted a blanket that doesn't, like, that protects from a bit of wind as well, and I thought maybe a felted blanket would be best for that. So I'm knitting this, felting it, in the hopes that it will be a little bit of wind protective as well. The colors that I'm using, I'm gonna show them to you. If I can find one that has the ball band, because Iris has been playing with these. The orangey browny one is 4121, and the bluish grayish one is 4123. Ooh, very cool. Close. This is what they look like, and this is what they look like together. I'm hoping this is gonna be a good thing when I felt them. Stay tuned. This is a good, like, in the car project and stuff like that, but when it's the only project you have for a long time when you're here, it's kind of boring, to be honest. Which is why we have multiple projects going at once, usually. So that we don't bore ourselves and run out of like knitting feel. So as Laura, oh no, I put this in the snow. As Laura from Penrose Knits would say, that project is not tickling my knitting pickle at the moment. But I'm knitting on it anyways because that's all I have. I do have one acquisition that I could show you in here, which is this. I got some Filcolana Arwetta. I'm not a super big superwash person. It's not my fave for different reasons. But I do see how it would be a good fit when it comes to baby knits. So my local yarn store had a sale during like one of the advents. I don't know which one it was. Where you, like, if you buy 3 balls of yarn, you get 1 for free. And I needed to buy some yarn anyways, so I added a few balls of Filcolana Arwetta that I basically got for free. Because I was like, It's 100% merino. It is superwash, but I can make, it's not 100% merino. Oh no, it's exactly, that's what it was. It's 80% merino. It's 80% virgin wool and 20% nylon, because what I thought is that I would make some socks for Iris with this, and maybe like, you know, a sweater or something. I got some of it just to make some baby knits. My hands are super cold now because I did take my gloves off to show you like the cuff of this, and then I never put them back on because I forgot, and now my pinky fingers are really cold. And I've shown you everything I had to show you today, so I'm gonna wrap this up and I'm gonna go inside, get some warmth into my little hands. I just wanted to take this opportunity to actually film an episode here because it is beautiful. I do really love it here. And yeah, tomorrow is New Year's Eve. I'm not sure if I'm able to edit and like upload this video before then. If I am, then Happy New Year's. If I'm not, then Happy New Year's anyways, but like a little bit late. In the upcoming weeks, probably when we get back home, I will make an effort to film everything I knit in 2022 because I'm super excited about that video. Been like looking forward to it for months now. I love those videos. And also I'm thinking about making an like maybe specific sweater patterns that I'm looking forward to knitting in 2023, but also like things in general that I'm thinking about making in 2023. I think that could be a fun video as well. I hope you had a great Christmas if you do celebrate Christmas. If not, I just hope you have a great like December, end of year, and I will see you when I see you. Bye!